Brought to you by DK Audio.
DK Audio presents Rebel Girls STEM Stars, 25 Tales of Women in Science by Rebel Girls, read by Natalie Simpson. Forward. Dear Rebels, as long as I can remember, I have gazed at the stars and wondered how I could reach them. The sense of mystery, the exploration of the unknown, and the amazing possibility of venturing into the final frontier was embedded into me as a young girl living in Sydney, Australia. That continued sense of adventure is why I went on to study aeronautical space engineering at university. I wanted to be a rocket scientist so I could solve problems and literally reach for the stars. I worked hard, and when I was 16 years old, I won a national science competition to see rocket launches in outback Australia. That ignited my passion even more. As a girl in science and technology, I had to overcome many hurdles. I was one of 2 women from my university who graduated with my degree, and women continue to be a minority in most engineering fields. But that didn't deter me from my dream of becoming a rocket scientist. I had a passion for astronomy, science, and maths. After I became a rocket scientist, I worked on aircraft all around Australia, with the goal of eventually becoming an astronaut. But something happened along the way. I realized that the greatest service I could do was to stay grounded here on Earth and look after the only planet we can call home. I went back to school to study to become a medical doctor, and now I work with patients to make their daily lives better. That doesn't mean I've lost my passion for the stars. I still aim to combine my passions in the future. Maybe one day I will work in aerospace medicine. And that's what I want to remind you. To follow your heart and be of service to the world. With those 2 goals, you'll never go wrong. My story is not dissimilar to yours, or the stories of many other amazing women who have tackled new frontiers in science and technology. You'll hear about a few of them in this audiobook. Some of these names might be familiar to you, like mathematician Ada Lovelace and NASA computer scientist Katherine Johnson. Some of the others you may be hearing about for the first time, like Rose Lecce, who works to cure malaria across the continent of Africa, and Alice Min Soo Chun, who invented a portable solar light inspired by origami. For all of us, the main driver is that we have ambition and are resilient. We are not scared to tackle the unknown, and that's what makes us great doctors, scientists, and engineers. We need more young girls who aren't afraid to shoot for the stars, and I hope this book inspires you to be one of them. Dr. Anita Van Dyke. Ada Lovelace, mathematician. Many years ago in England, there was a young girl named Ada who was excellent at maths. Ada lived during a time when girls were supposed to become wives and mothers, not scientists or mathematicians. Ada's mother loved maths and science, though, and made sure Ada learned both subjects. But one thing her mother did not like was imagination. When Ada was too curious or creative, her mother put a stop to it. Still, Ada loved discovering how things worked. She was mesmerized by the way colors reflected off of water and the way birds flew through the sky. Ada even began inventing a pair of silk wings so she could fly too. As an adult, Ada met a mathematician named Charles Babbage. He had invented a machine called the difference engine that could solve maths problems on its own, like a modern-day calculator. He was working on a new invention, the analytical engine, that would be able to do even more. Ada began helping Charles and soon realized the possibilities. She believed the analytical engine could be used to understand not only numbers, but words and pictures too. She even thought it could play music. Ada wrote down her own thoughts and ideas about the machine. Eventually, her notes were published in a scientific journal. In her most famous note, she explained how the machine could follow step-by-step instructions to make something happen. These instructions are called an algorithm. Today, computer programs and apps use algorithms all the time. This imaginative scientific discovery crowned Ada the first ever computer programmer. She lived between 10th of December 1815 to the 27th of November 1852. As Ada Lovelace said, imagination is the discovering faculty. Alice Min Soo Chun, inventor. There once was a young girl named Alice who loved to build things. Her mother taught her origami, the Japanese art of folding paper into shapes. One of the things she tried to make was a balloon. It took Alice many days to learn how to fold the paper just right. She crumpled sheet after sheet until finally she mastered the creases. When she was done, she softly blew air into a small hole, and the paper inflated just like a real balloon. Years later, Alice became an architect and a teacher. One day, she took her son to the doctor and found out he had asthma. Alice was worried. Her son was not alone, though. There were lots of children in the doctor's office. Why do so many children have trouble breathing? She asked herself. Alice began to research. She learned that our air has a lot of pollution in it from burning fossil fuels like oil for energy. She also discovered that in places without electricity, millions of people were burning a dangerous and expensive oil called kerosene just to have light. Alice couldn't believe it. She began to build a special light powered by the sun that people without electricity could use safely. Inspired by the origami balloons she had learned to make as a child, she designed the solar puff light to be a similar shape. It could inflate and deflate with the help of a pull tab. That made it easy to store and travel with. Alice went all over the world, bringing thousands of her portable lights to places where children were living through hardships like wars and earthquakes. Because of Alice's invention, many more kids can see and breathe safely. Born 1965, South Korea and United States of America. As Alice Min Soo Chun said, "We are all drops in the ocean, but together we can move the moon." Angelina Suboi, programmer and engineer. Once, a girl named Angelina found a broken-down refrigerator in a parking lot. With help from her two brothers, she dragged it to her backyard and took it apart. As she examined each piece, Angelina began to understand how the machine worked. She never forgot the joy of discovering something new, even though her mum was pretty upset about the fridge in their yard. When Angelina turned 7, she learned to program a simple maze game on the computer. After that, she worked on project after project, and her coding skills got better and better. By the time she was 17, she had learned 17 programming languages and invented another one herself. With everything she does, Angelina makes the world a better place. She's built tools that help people learn CPR, predict tsunamis, and monitor air quality. One special project was inspired by her mum. After Angelina's mother immigrated to the US from Japan, she had a tough time finding...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?